The arrival fallacy. The idea that achieving a certain goal will lead to lasting happiness. This concept is something that I've struggled with a lot. I spent the whole senior year of my high school time waiting for that moment where I graduate and I'm done and summer started before I finally gave myself permission to be happy. I spent the whole time just waiting and thinking that once that moment hits, then I'm allowing myself to be happy and I can start actually living. Um, this is I've experienced this through work, through school, through everything. And right now I'm finally realizing that I'm doing it again with college. The idea that for right now I'm not giving myself permission to be happy until I go to college and experience that change. Basically, I've been just waiting. I've been just waiting for life to happen before giving giving myself permission to actually start living. Um, once I'm fit enough, once I'm rich enough, once I'm fully healed, then I can actually start giving myself permission to start living. This idea is really hard because people say like live in the moment, but it's not that it's not that easy. It's hard, and this is called the arrival fallacy. So it's kind of like waiting at a bus stop, and you're gonna get to the same destination, or instead you can walk and look around and experience outdoors. Like that's basically how I'm living my life right now, and I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this are as well. Um, the idea that once you get that goal and once you hit that number and once you become that person you want to, then and only then you can finally start enjoying life more. Um, that's the wrong way of looking at things. People say live in the now and don't live in the future, because when you live in the future, you're anxious. When you live in the past, you just you're just looking back on everything, right? You're not really living. But when you live in the now, you're happy. And it's interesting to see where all of this comes in, like with work. The idea that if I do 12,000 cold calls or whatever this summer, then I can finally, once I'm done, start actually enjoying life. And it's really hard to change that mental model inside of my head and that paradigm that I just can't start living until I hit those certain numbers. Um, it's hard. If I look back on it, I wasted my whole senior year of high school just waiting for that day where I could finally leave the building for the last time and graduate. And I got to that point, and it felt the same like any other day. I didn't get lasting happiness. And I thought I would. I genuinely thought that once I graduated and once I'm done, finished school, and I had so much more time on my hands, I'm on a new chapter of life. It's summer. I can sleep now finally. That I'd just be happy. And it felt like another damn day. um, so I think that's interesting. So many people get struck up on what they want to achieve, and that right now is the time where they slave themselves into working as hard as they possibly can so they can achieve what they want. And it's the wrong way of looking at it. In my eyes, you're only a kid once. No matter how much you work, no matter how much you grind, how much you lift, how much you work on personal development, like when you gonna understand that once you get what you want and once you arrive at that spot, you're probably not gonna be any more happy than you were just going for it. You know, Genuinely, this is just it's really fucking hard. Um, and you just have like the biggest anticipation towards that coming event. Like you feel like that's the only thing you can think about and the only thing that matters. During that last month or two of school, the only thing I could think about is getting on that stage, getting my diploma, and leaving. Just leaving. It's the only thing I could think about for a month or two. But when you actually get there and you arrive at that point, it never brings the reward that your mind thought it would. Yeah. And with work, it's hard to sit there and just be like, and just enjoy work. But you need to find ways where you can. Like I genuinely have dreaded so many days, just in anticipation of the fact that I'll finally make some money that I feel proud of. I could finally buy that new item. I could finally buy that watch. Or I could finally buy those sunglasses. And guess what? I bought the sunglasses. I bought the watch. And afterwards, felt like another day. So, honestly, this is going to sound extremely cringy, but you got to just enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. And not think about the arrival. Because at the end of the day, there's not going to be one eureka moment. Kobe talked about this a lot. There's not one moment that you get to and you're happy. You're joyful, and the rest of your life is just happy. It doesn't exist. You just have to enjoy every day and take it one day at a time. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I wish that I could go back in my high school and senior year, even my freshman, junior year, my sophomore year, just and think about this a little bit more. And that instead of living each day waiting for Friday and thinking that once it's Friday you'll be super happy, just enjoying every day for what it was. In work nowadays, instead of being so dreaded and feel like you're just waiting until you get to that sales call or until you close that client. Just enjoy the fact that I get to communicate and talk to these cool people and get to them to that point and build that relationship before then. There's different ways of doing this in different parts of your life, but in school I've noticed it the most. And that's why in college I need to turn it off in my brain right now. That idea that I need to wait to get to college before I start living my life. Or wait till I move down south until I actually give myself permission to start living. Yeah. That's everything I got. The rival fallacy is a very interesting idea in psychology, and it's something that I've noticed a lot in my life. And it's really hard because then you're just not happy. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's all I got.